Bueno, buenas tardes. ¿Viene bien el día?
Good afternoon. How are you doing? Lots of information, right? Well, the purpose of this talk, and I'm going to make it short or shorter so that you can have a longer break, is to try and understand what the keynote speaker mentioned and things that help us in this unified global experience. But mainly the focus of this talk is to tell you how we can add this component of GeneXus by Globant as a source of information. That's where I want to focus on. I received several questions how you've been going around, and I think it's going to be interesting to answer questions. In the first place, innovation, and refer to what we mean by innovation in this case. Innovation is about how we can improve the way we work, particularly from the technological standpoint, how to make a better experience of these 29,000 Globers around the world, and making a lot of emphasis and stressing what Martin said, and I saw it in the keynote, that it's a question of security, how to be able to leave all this and have control over all these matters. There are two issues that we're going to be discussing with you. The first one has to do with empowering users, Globers. I was talking about scaling their capacities through some tools that I'm going to show you in a demo that I'm going to share with you. In the second place, to simplify the development process, simplify activities, and once again, take into account security. So all these things are things that we discussed this morning, super apps, mini apps, perhaps you've already gone about them, and how to consider mobile applications that you may have. And then the second point is that it's not going to be a spoiler. You saw it early when Nicolas mentioned them, and Eugenio also had an entire detail there in GeneXus Enterprise AI. Now, super apps. Now, first of all, what's a super app? A super app is still an app, but the difference is that it gives you the possibility of making some services available that may be used by other apps. From my standpoint, what are the most important characteristics of a super app? In the first case is the dynamic load of these mini apps that run on top of it, because an important characteristic is that I can display and send mini apps to the 29,000 Globers without having to tell them that they have that. They have the super app. The super app is running, and whenever you want to run a mini app, you can do it without having any problems. The second thing is that not all the apps that we have, not all of these mini apps must be ours. We may have third-party apps. That's not our main case. Our main use here is how is Globant working. There was a sentence saying, we are a technically nerd company at Globant. We have many requests coming to this technology. And so we find that at an office, they're making an app for a specific case in that office. And so we can see that in a region, they are solving this. And we are solving a framework so that those apps may end up in a mini app, and we can scale it to scale this umbrella of mobile apps in our company. And the third point, which is very much related, is how to identify all these mobile apps with all the things that we have. Now, just imagine that Globant is permanently working and trying to improve this experience so that Globers can always have access to the best experience of work possible. In this slide here on the left, you can see the super app that we are using. Start Me Up is in Globant, and it's a platform that allows us to see, allows me to see what it's done, to have feedback, to have relations. I mean, all these Globant experiences live in here. You can see the mobile app here. It's been transformed and scaled up to become a super app. And what you can see is how someone, through the Start Me Up, go to one of our offices. And if that person is in San Francisco, the office would be the one in San Francisco. If that person is in India, it would be seeing the office in India. If it's in Montevideo, it would be seeing the office in Montevideo. So we are unifying Globant's experience. It doesn't matter where you are. In all cases, it'll be the same, and you will have the office in the place where you are. It's not our destination. It's part of the road we are walking along. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see several of the examples. We are working how to load, how to plan a trip, or how to load, or how to invite an external party to the company. All these are different apps that we are converting into standard mini app. The other road was generative AI models. I think Eugenio and Gaston mentioned this chart once again with all the models that we have. And what, I mean, the conversation in this discussion reminded me a lot of something that many years ago you would get to a company and you had a laptop in the office when you had a notebook at home. And perhaps you recall that when we started talking about bringing your own device, why? Because otherwise at home, I was working at home with a machine with certain capacities, and in my office I was working with something different. And I think that our conversation at present is quite similar to that. The difference is that now we're talking about apps. At home I have ChatGPT and many tools that facilitate my work. And if I go to my office and I block all that, then what happens is that what we have to try and do is to provide all those tools in a secure manner. And that's what we're trying to do. Now, security is most important. Support in the same way with ChatGPT, but not only to those models, but also internal assistance, different types of models. And lastly, the possibility of what most employees do is generating code and optimizing codes in the platform. Now, to talk about numbers now, what's the situation at present? How are we working at Globant Chat? These are the figures of a month. 9,000 tickets, 8,000 users a day, and 2,000 users per day for an entire month. These are quite interesting figures. Early this morning, I was saying that we use GeneXus Enterprise AI to give scalability to the model. Now, we can't answer all these requests with our infrastructure. Gaston was showing you a global writing. We are leveraged because of the restraints of requests that we can answer, and to be able to answer to these 92,000 requests that we receive. Most certainly, you've seen this in a previous presentation. This is Globant Chat. It's a web interface that is quite similar to ChatGPT. The main difference here is that this goes directly against GeneXus Enterprise AI with the engines that you've loaded. And there you can see we have GPT 3.5, GPT 4, and we are expanding it to other models. But we can also upload internal assistance, all that in one same interface. And this is disposal, and the person can be empowered to carry out their daily activities. This isn't the only place where we've used a GeneXus Enterprise AI in a company. Martin said that GeneXus isn't the only platform that we've got. We've got more platforms. Here we have got two. Start Me Up. Start Me Up is already using GeneXus Enterprise AI. A particular case, specific one, when someone has to send out a feedback to someone else, you can open Start Me Up, generate a context, and receive a proposal, and on that basis start editing. And that's done through GeneXus Enterprise AI. So what we've been able to do is that all that context isn't saved anywhere. It's not stored anywhere, to keep it safe, to keep it secure. Another platform is Magnify. For those of you who don't know it, it's a platform that allows you to make test automation based on the IDE, and this platform is also being used right now. You can give in the use case, and then it's very similar to what you can do with GeneXus Next to develop what's going to be magnified. I'm going to generate codes to be able to make those tests. Of course, that's being used in GeneXus Next. And then Globant Chat is the last one. So in less than a year, since this boom started, we started incorporating all these innovations in our daily lives at Globant, and to be able to give you tools that simplify your work and that scales up your capacity, but without having any impact on security. This motivation to look for new horizons, to take up new technologies, make us develop new solutions on a daily basis, to continue improving the experience of Globers. And then, as you see it here, moving forward, thank you.